All right, last little tidbit in 3.6 is to formalize the discriminant stuff. So there's some pictures here, and it kind of puts in one clean place what I was trying to explain, those patterns that you might have seen. So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Again, this is that stuff that's inside the square root. Did you notice a pattern between the value of the discriminant and the types of solutions we found in each section of our notes? Well, I kind of talked about that in the last video because we're not really in class to necessarily converse about that or look at patterns or talk about patterns. So the value of the discriminant can be used to determine the number and type of roots of a quadratic equation. So if you look at these three pictures, they're all U-shaped or I guess like N-shaped graphs. And some of them have very clear roots or clear solutions, and others they're kind of unclear. So here you can see there are two solutions. Here you can see there's one, and then here it doesn't look like there's any, and that's when we have those complex roots. So this means it's less than 0, which is negative. That's when you're going to have i's in there. When this is just straight up equal to 0, that's when you're going to have one solution. And then these both say when they're greater than, that's when you're going to have these two solutions. The only difference between this one and this one is that one says there is a perfect square. Like, for example, on one, like this, they're talking about rational roots. Rational just means pretty. Like square root of 25 is 5. That's pretty, that's nice, that's simple. If it's not a perfect square, like if it was 26, you can't take that square root and come out with a pretty number, so that would be irrational. Doesn't matter though, it's still going to hit in two spots, okay? So really, the three things you're going to want to remember or just be aware of is that if it's positive, there's 2. If it's 0, there's one solution. And if it's negative, there are the complex roots with the letter I in it. So b squared minus 4ac in this one would be negative 11 squared minus 4ac, which is 121 minus 40, which is 81. Is 81 a perfect square? Meaning, can you take the square root of 81 and is it going to be pretty? Yes, it's 9. So that means that there's going to be two roots because it's positive, and they will be rational or pretty. This next one says b squared minus 4ac, which is 64 minus 64, which is 0. So how many roots are there? If you look up here, 0, that means there is one solution, and it is a rational or pretty root. I'm willing to bet you can guess what this next one will be. 2 squared minus 4ac, which is negative 24. That means, because it's negative, that there are two complex roots. That means you're going to have i's in your solution. Okay, so this is just a formalization of kind of the pattern we talked about or noticed in the previous section.